Okay, hey, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for being here today. It's a nice crowd. We have a bill. This is our final bill of the year. Actually, we're going to be signing, so it's great that it's here at Bernie's Pharmacy, and I want to thank Terri and others that have helped put this together. But this bill is about HB 226, Pharmacies, Pharmacists, Benefit Managers, and this is a bill that took a lot of compromise, which a lot of bills do. And in general, HB 226 regulates pharmacy benefit managers in Alaska to provide more transparency to benefit consumers and independent pharmacies. And that's the general 30,000 foot, but I want to be able to, I'm going to have some folks come up here in a moment, starting with Senator Giessel, but I just want to acknowledge the Alaska State Medical Association, the Board of Pharmacy, Ashley Schaber, Senator Giessel, DCCED Director Lori Winghar, and Sylvan Robb for the work on this legislation, and a whole bunch of other people that worked on this bill as well. And so with that, to add some detail to the bill, the whys and the whats, we're going to have Senator Giessel come up, then we'll have Representative Sumner come up, and then Terri will come up and finish it off, and then we'll sign the bill and it becomes law, okay? So Senator?
Thank you, Governor, and thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate the Governor signing this. You know, here in the United States, we believe that we are free market capitalists. But one thing that doesn't apply to is healthcare. We are not a free market. There is no competition and even playing ground. That's what this bill is trying to do with pharmacy benefits and pharmacy benefit managers. These are very large organizations. In fact, their number, in terms of the size of them as companies, they are number 3, number 6, and number 16. The top 3 PBMs in the United States in terms of their profits. They make together over $1 trillion a year in profits. And that profit is coming out of the pockets of consumers and independent pharmacists, which we'll talk about in a moment. The top 3 PBMs control 80% of the pharmaceutical market, that is the dispensing of medications in the U.S. The top 6 PBMs control 90% of the market. That's not a lot of competition. That's not an even playing ground. So part of the reason is that they are vertically integrated. In other words, here they are, the middle manager over what drugs get dispensed. They also are controlled by insurance companies with whom they negotiate prices, and they own their own pharmacies, who they delegate prescriptions to, leaving out our independent pharmacies. Here in Alaska, our independent pharmacies are critical community service entities, places where neighbors can go to their neighborhood pharmacy, get help for an illness, get advice, medical advice. We've actually had several pharmacies close in the last 5 years. In fact, I've got a list here. 2 of them have closed in Juneau, Ron's Apothecary and the Foodland Pharmacy. In Fairbanks, 2 have closed, the Medical Family Pharmacy, the Alaska Family Pharmacy. In Anchorage, Great Lands Infusion has closed, and Geneva Woods. Cordova lost their pharmacy 10 years ago, all because these small independent pharmacies cannot profit. They cannot stay afloat because the pharmacy benefit managers are not reimbursing them for the cost of the medications they're dispensing. Those PBMs are capturing that extra money and they're profiting. And I mentioned the big 3 are making more than $1 trillion a year in profits. This is all being looked at by the U.S. House. They had a hearing last week, and they made some recommendations. They recommended more transparency, requiring transparency of the PBMs, breaking up the vertical integration that they have created, this conglomeration of control over pharmacies or pharmaceuticals, and alignment with the people that are paying the bills. That's the state of Alaska. In fact, the state of Ohio a few years ago audited their pharmacy benefit manager to find out what was going on, and they found out that because of the way the PBM was reimbursing to the state and to their pharmacies, that they were actually able, by firing that PBM, they're saving $150 to $200 million a year that had been captured by that PBM from the state coffers. So one of the things, well, several things that this bill does are the very things that the U.S. House of Representatives is recommending. So transparency. This bill will require that PBMs execute a duty of care to the plan sponsor. In other words, a duty of care to the state of Alaska, which means that they will be transparent, they will disclose any conflict of interests, they will pass on any payment or benefit in full to the plan sponsor. That means any negotiated discounts with the manufacturer of the medication will be passed on in full to the state of Alaska. That means we can save some money and provide more in our state budget. That includes all rebates, discounts, and other similar payments. All financial terms and arrangements for remuneration of any kind will be disclosed, and things like that. This is just one aspect of the bill that the governor is going to be signing today. So it will be a huge step forward. We would not be here today signing this bill if it were not for Representative Giessel Sumner, who carried the bill on the House side. I am so grateful to him. Clark Bickford and Serena Hackenmiller are his two staff people that really helped get this bill across the finish line. So I just huge support and thanks to Representative Sumner. The Pharmacists Association, the Board of Pharmacy, Southeast Pharmacists, South Central Pharmacists, and of course pharmacists in Fairbanks at Tanana Chiefs all worked so hard on this piece of legislation. We'll be continuing this work. We actually started working on reining in the PBMs in 2013. We got a bill passed in 2018 that took a little step. This is another step. So we'll be continuing to work, and I'm so grateful to the governor for signing it today. Representative Sumner, I'll let you make some remarks.
Well, thank you. I don't know that I have much to add to what the senator said. She said it very well. So I suppose I'll just thank some folks. Thank everyone that made the bill possible, especially thanks to the governor and the governor's office, my session staff, as was said, Clark Bickford and Serena Hackenmiller for their tireless work, the cross-sponsor, Senator Giessel, for her incredible attention to detail and her hard work, and honestly, thanks for most of the legislature. I believe we passed with a supermajority in the House and unanimously, I think, in the Senate. So, yeah, with that, I look forward to seeing the positive impacts that House Bill 226 will provide. Thank you.
Ashley.
Good afternoon. I will continue the pattern of thanks and thank Representative Sumner and Senator Giessel and their teams for all the hard work and leadership as the bill sponsors. Thank you to Governor Dunleavy for his support as well. Over the last several years, through public testimony and input from patients, pharmacists, and technicians here in the state, the Board of Pharmacy became aware of the issues that Senator Giessel mentioned previously, as well as the negative impact that these issues were having to patient safety and choice here in the state. In response, the board collaborated with the Alaska Pharmacy Association along with multiple other patient and healthcare organizations to address these practices and ensure an adequate pharmacy infrastructure physically in the state of Alaska to support pharmacy patient safety and choice. These efforts resulted in House Bill 226. The bill promotes choice for where patients receive pharmacy services, provides an initial framework for transparency and safety, and my favorite, this one aligns with the Board of Pharmacy's strategic plan, specifically goal number 4, which is to grow the Alaska economy while promoting community health and safety. This bill is unique in that it addresses both community health and commerce by protecting choice and access. As the senator mentioned, multiple pharmacies have closed since efforts on the bill began, and the passage and signing of the bill today will help build the needed foundation to ensure Alaska's pharmacies can continue to safely serve Alaska patients across the state. Thank you again to sponsors, multiple co-sponsors, advocates, subject matter experts, and the governor for your support of this important bill. And I will turn it over to Terri Hall-Cloud.
Excuse me, Governor. Hello, everyone. Well, I guess it all ends right here. Independent pharmacy. We are the last independent pharmacy in Anchorage. And we work so hard, especially for the last 44 years, That's a long time for an independent pharmacy these days. But we work so hard to be sure that our patients have safe access to their medications, that our patients also know that we are their community pharmacy. We're not just the community pharmacy for Anchorage. We are also the community pharmacy for those who live in Utqiagvik, for those who live in other areas of the state, Bethel, Dillingham, where they don't have an independent pharmacy, Cordova, whose pharmacy closed 10 years ago. So we see patients from all over the state, and we certainly want them to know that they can depend on us to be their independent pharmacy and to be their healthcare provider. One thing that is really important is that every year we step forward with another part of legislation to help prevent issues like vertical integration, to help, and these are all just terms that you hear and everybody goes, well, what is that? And Senator Giessel, thank you. You really laid that out for us. But nevertheless, it's really important that everybody knows that we are here for them, that we are here to prevent any kind of independent, well, I guess not independent, any kind of box type situation where you're being told you can get your first refill wherever you want, but the next refills have to come from our mail order pharmacy, which they own. How fair is that? How much choice does it give you when you're told where you have to go to have your medications filled? I'm totally grateful, not just for the fact that Senator Giessel and Representative Sumner, thank you very much, I'm very sorry. Anyways, and thanks to House Representative Sumner. I'm very grateful that two of you pushing this bill over the line, but I'm also, it would not be right to not also acknowledge people like Brandy Signa Martin, who is the executive director of the Alaska Pharmacy Association. She pushed me to become more involved with this legislation. She also made me go to Juneau with her. And it was an interesting couple of days, I will say. But let me tell you this, when you go to Juneau and you're knocking on legislators' doors and you're introducing yourself, everyone seems to know who Bernie's Pharmacy is. But now you're going to see the result of our hard work. So thank you, Senator Giessel and Representative Sumner, but mostly thank you, Governor Dunleavy. I really appreciate the fact that you've chosen to come to our pharmacy a second time to sign such important legislation. And thank you, Brandy, and also Dan Nelson. I have to bring him up too. So thank you all, and we appreciate you coming. We have some cookies and a little charcuterie over there for you to enjoy after the fact, and appreciate all of you coming today. Bye. And I see Dan back there. Hi, Dan. Governor?
Thanks, Terri. We're gonna move this out a little bit, so those that want to be part of it. With the signing of this bill, this becomes law, and it can begin to help pharmacists and everyday Alaskans deal with their prescriptions and hopefully better health and a little bit more in their wallets. So. So with that, you're doing a great job there. So with that, this is now law. It'll go down to Juneau, and we can begin to reap the benefits of the work that the legislature has done and others on this bill. So awesome. Thank you very much. This is a time for you to start clapping for these folks. And we'll have legislators and others who wish to take a picture with this. And Laura, where are you? Who do we want to have the pens go to? Senator Sumner, are you to my right? Yep. Here you go, sir. Thank you. Good job.
Senator Giessel.
Senator, great job.
Thanks, Governor. Ms. Hall and Schaber.
It's the second one, right?
Yes,
Awesome.
I'm collecting them.
Awesome.
And the next year is another one.
Actually, great job.
And then I'd like to get one to
Brandy.
Randy, good work.
Thank you so much, Governor.
Absolutely. And then there are others, obviously, folks here that were part of this. But great job, and we're going to move the chair out of the way, and we'll let others start taking some photos here. So, Senator and Representative, if you want to get over here. Sure. And anyone else that wants to get behind there with them? Yeah.
Seriously, we couldn't have done this without you.